WordFence, the security plugin for WordPress, I love them because when there's a security risk internet-wide, they usually send out an email alerting people to the nature of that risk and what plugin was involved or whatever is going on. Their most recent email came, I think, yesterday or today, recently, is from Matt Berry, who talks about what WordPress Is Auto-Updates, which is going to be a new feature of WordPress version 5.5, which is scheduled for release on August 11. And so it will basically allow you to flip a switch and just have WordPress auto-update itself, the core WordPress, or any plugins or themes that you've got installed in your WordPress on your WordPress site. You have the option to turn auto-updates on for individual plugins and themes directly. It can be turned off. It's going to be turned off by default. So when WordPress updates to the newest version, it'll be turned off by default. And you'll only have an on and off toggle switch, so you won't have the option to select different types of updates, like security updates, only security updates, or only minor releases, etc. But the reason they're doing this is to improve the security of WordPress installations across the board and make it easier for people who maintain sites to maintain them. They do point out some potential problems. I'm going to list a couple of them. The concurrent auto updates can fail. So if you've got a bunch of plugins and you turn on auto update and you have all those plugins updating at the same time, the load on the server can cause, depending upon the type of hosting you have, the load on the server for all of those updates, all those plugins updating at once can cause them to fail. So that's something you would have to be concerned about. Difficulty in determining what changed. So when I update WordPress sites, I update, and there's several plugins that need to be updated. I update them individually.
I do too.
Update one, check out the site, see if everything's okay. Okay, worked. Update the next, do the same thing. So if you're updating a bunch of plugins simultaneously, you don't necessarily know what changed if something goes wrong. If it breaks the site, you don't know which plugin broke the site. So that's an issue. Major version releases could have compatibility problems. So, you've got minor updates, bugs that are fixed and stuff, but then some plugins have major updates, and they have been known in the past to have compatibility problems with the core WordPress. And then the lack of Canary releases for testing issues. So Canary release is you release it for a small subset of your users, like 5% of your users get the release to test to see if it's okay, and then if it's okay for that 5%, you roll it out for the entire population. If you're doing auto updates, then obviously that's not happening. At the moment, nearly every update you do on your site is an attended update. You attend to the update, like I explained. You update. I update them individually. You know when your site has been updated when you do that. You can read the developer's change log. So if you're thinking about maybe I shouldn't update this one, you can check in, see what the developer has changed. You can see whether it's a critical security update you need to update right away. If it's just a bug fix, if it's a major release, and as I said, you can test your site if you update every plugin. And the more likely you're more likely to be able to determine any problems that way. They say there's 3 approaches you can use for the auto updates. You can turn it on for all plugins, which I will do for some sites, like just basic brochure sites that content doesn't really change. I know there's a limited number of plugins. They're well-regarded plugins. They're probably not gonna be an issue. I'd flip on the all update switch for that because it saves me time and I don't have to go and do it individually. Auto update for some plugins or off for all plugins. So that just depends upon the nature of your site. If you've got a mission critical site, if you're doing e-commerce, if you got an enterprise wide site, you're probably going to turn them all off and do them individually because there's too much at stake. I'll put a link in the show notes because there's a lot more to this post than I've described here, but it's well worth the read.